Hello, everybody. How are you doing? Happy
Hello.
World VFX Day. Big day. I'm Simon, founder and director of Access VFX, the global industry movement striving to create a more diverse and inclusive visual effects, animation, and games industry. And welcome to our third session. Big shout out to Ian, Jonas, and Alwyn, who have preceded us. Great job. Looking forward to the rest of the talks. But yes, welcome to the Power of Networking, where you'll get to hear from this lovely lot, with these three exceptional people actively involved in our global mentoring program, namely Emma Kolasinska, Access VFX e-mentoring lead and executive VFX producer at Luxotierna. We have Alisha Huxtable, Access VFX mentee and line producer at DNEG, and Matthias Backmann, Access VFX mentor and compositing supervisor at Lava Labs in Dusseldorf. So I'm going to do a little bit of an intro to what Access VFX is, because I don't like to assume that everybody here knows what we do. And then I'm going to hand over to the team to talk about their experiences. And at the end, there'll be a big call to action, how you can all get involved, either as a mentee or as a mentor. So Access VFX was set up in the first place back in 2017, believe it or not. We've been going around for six and a half, 7 years now. And it was originally to celebrate National Inclusion Week in the UK to raise awareness of careers in visual effects and animation with a focus on accessibility and inclusion. And back then, back in the day, those heady days, we were made up of just 11 volunteers from organisations, from our like OG members, as I like to call them. And they were, we should shout them out, The Mill, Cine Site, make yourself known on the chat if you want to throw up some emojis, NPC Advertising, Frame Store, ILM, Blue Zoo Animation Studio, Jellyfish Pictures, the UK Screen Alliance, Escape Studios, Next Gen Skills Academy, and DNEG. Today, the Access VFX membership is made up of almost 70 global studios, educators, and industry bodies, all working together towards the same shared goal to make visual effects, animation, and games more diverse and inclusive by taking action rather than just talking about it. Our movement is now truly global, with active chapters across the UK, USA, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and as of this year, 11 European countries, including France, Germany, Spain, Netherlands, Sweden, Denmark, Belgium, Italy, the Czech Republic, Bulgaria, and Austria. So this gives us and you access to this global pool of industry mentors. Now, all of our events and initiatives have been geared towards our core ethos of getting stuff done. There's a more ruder version of that if you care to check the internet out, which means that if there's no tangible action, then we're not interested. This is why the e-mentoring program we often call the jewel in the crown of our work at Access VFX, because we're in the business of connecting people, diverse voices, bringing new and fresh perspectives to real jobs, real opportunities, and real mentorship via our core values. And there are four. I'm going to share them with you, so prepare yourself. Education, which is working with education providers, schools, colleges, delivering training workshops. Inspiration, which is our events, our speaking engagements, our global outreach work. Recruitment, which is promoting best practice, routes into industry such as apprenticeships and internships and other programs. And of course, why we're here today, mentoring, our global program hosted by the amazing Prospella team. We apply these drivers to what we call the Access VFX journey, which is to inspire, encourage, and support, as we said earlier, a more diverse workforce through the following steps. Now, of course, we've mentioned inspiration, which is our outreach. We do see it, be it role modeling via our LGBTQI plus network at QVFX, our race equity community at XVFX, our podcast, our website content. And this leads to and cultivates what we call aspiration. So we go inspiration, then aspiration. So nurtured by our amazing mentors. And then if we get that right, it leads to application, right? So supporting applications to college, university, the entry-level opportunities, apprenticeships, internships, and then the journey doesn't end there. If you get that job, you get that placement, then it's ongoing career progression support through mentoring and community-based network opportunities. Now, I'm going to hand over to Alisha in a minute, but if you, on this call, if you're listening, if you have any touch point at any level with our industry, you have a responsibility here to support each other. Now, at the end of the session, as I've said, we're going to offer a call to action where you can join our mission to build a more inclusive industry, create more opportunity, and truly change lives by signing up as an Access VFX mentor or mentee. Emma's going to share more detail on the program shortly, but I'm going to take this opportunity to thank our global generous sponsors at Foundry. So big up Foundry, without whom the platform probably wouldn't exist. And recently Netflix Europe, who supported us financially this year to open up our European chapter, as we've said already. So that's about 5 minutes. I did that. I'm timed it within an inch of its life. But without further ado, it's my absolute pleasure to welcome our first speaker, Alisha, to the conversation. So hello, Alisha.
Hello.
How's it going?
It's going well. Thank you for having me.
No, thank you for doing this. Now, Alicia's one of our many, many mentees, but Alicia's got a really amazing story, which I hope will inspire you all on this call. But I want to kick things off, Alicia, by asking you, how did you get into the industry and where you are now?
So I got into industry and where I am now by studying at Escape Studios. Those who are on the call may potentially know the university. I did a bachelor's in 2D compositing, which was a really amazing experience, which was actually where I first came into contact with Access VFX, actually.
Okay.
I met Escape Studios through a careers fair, which they really intrigued me on the first jump just by a video of a visual effects breakdown, which I think is some really great content to enjoy in pastime. So watched one of those and was encapsulated just from the jump. And gratefully, I was introduced to Access VFX.
Amazing. So yeah, I mean, Escape, as we said earlier, are one of our first members, right? And I have it on good authority that there's a bit of a culture at Escape Studios where all students are encouraged or almost make it mandatory to get an Access VFX mentor. Is that true, or is that urban legend?
I believe it's true as of now, but when I was there, that wasn't necessarily the case.
Okay.
Actually, you came in, Simon, to do one of the talks.
No way.
Yeah, I've never told you this either. So that really intrigued me. I ended up signing up for a mentorship to look for a mentor, but honestly, I found so much more. With Access VFX, I found a wealth of knowledge with just through the amalgamation of people and the experiences that they've had. I also found so many key gems. Although I didn't specifically find my mentor in Access VFX, I was introduced to so many different people. I used the Q&A platform, so I asked a question. I cannot recall what question it was to this day, but I remember it was something that I was curious about. I believe it was something to do with trying to merge the lines between production because I studied compositing.
Okay.
So I asked a question regarding that. I was led to one person and then was introduced to another person. And then I was introduced to the women in VFX Discord, where I did find my mentor. And yeah, we have active discussions about Access VFX and how personally, if Access VFX wasn't introduced to my life, my career trajectory and where I would be today would honestly be so different. I'm very grateful for the knowledge that it's given me.
Amazing, amazing. So yeah, that's a really interesting narrative actually, because it's that kind of it's almost networking.
Yeah.
Where you have that initial interaction, then that leads to another, which leads to another. And I was fascinated by your story, how you did sign up to the Access VFX mentoring program, which led to you discovering the Women in VFX Discord channel. Could you tell us more about that and how that worked for you and led to you getting your role at DNEG?
Oh yeah, 100%. So both Access VFX and the Women in Discord operate in very similar ways. The Discord channel, it provided me substantial groups of communities. So it depends on the subject that you really want to focus on. It can be the specific discipline within the visual effects industry, such as layout artists or production workers or anything of the sorts. Or it can be something as small as such as well-being issues, such as maternity at work or childcare at work as well within the visual effects industries. They have been doing some work towards that lately, which has been quite phenomenal, especially considering the dynamic that women do have within the industry. And yeah, Shayna, my mentor, who I met through the Women in
VFX. Shout her out.
Yes, definitely so. She's been a really great help. I found mentorship has helped me grow not only within my career, but as a person. Mentorship is not just guidance towards how to get a job, but it's also guidance on how to keep growing within your job and not allow one job to restrict you into one certain thing. And also to help confront imposter syndrome, which I believe a lot of us come to play in this type of role.
Yeah, definitely suffer from.
All of us have.
Yeah, 100%.
So I've got one more question before I hand over to Emma, Alisha, and I'm sure we'll come back to you as well as we, depend on how much time we have this morning. But how do you still use your mentoring relationship? So you talked about, I mentioned it earlier, you get to that role
Yes.
and then it's further supported by mentorship. It doesn't end just because you get the job. So how do you use your mentor now that you're firmly established in your role as line producer?
So for me, I use my mentorship in order to help me grow. My mentor is someone that has achieved certain things that I admire, and I see a likeness towards my own specific career trajectory and life. So knowing that I have the guidance of someone that's achieved things similar worth that I would like to achieve really helps me out.
Amazing.
So for example, if I have like a new goal, I'm a very goal orientated person. I have my monthly checklist, my yearly New Year's resolutions. And if I have a goal where I'm struggling to create a path in order to get there, Shayna is definitely one of the main people I come into contact with. And I think that's what's really important about mentorship, even speaking to certain people as well. That's the type of guidance that you need, that helps you really just progress in your career.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, thank you, Alisha. Honestly, it's such an incredible story. I'm going to pass over seamlessly from one production titan to another production titan, our amazing e-mentoring lead for Access VFX, Emma. So Emma, do you want to take it from here?
Yeah, hello everyone. Happy World VFX Day. I think it's absolutely incredible after the year that everybody's been having in the industry, that we're shining a light on the exceptional talent across the entire world, which is, mentoring is perfect for that. So I've been lucky to be involved with Access VFX for the last 5 years. And our mentoring platform currently has over 2,500 members from all over the world. They're ranging from ages 12 up to 45 years old. Now, we all interact over a platform, a Slack type platform online, which is powered by an incredible company called Prospella, who do lots of work with us. They look after the legal requirements of each different country that we're working with, so that you are able to converse safely online on an internet platform without meeting a mentee in person. And they also set up certain rules and restrictions. So they're a really huge shout out to Dexter and his team at Prospella. Thank you for all your help. Really appreciate it. All the mentors who are working with us through Access VFX are professionals. So they're either in a freelance capacity or they are working in one of the many big companies around the world. So if a mentee was to sign up, they could be working with someone who's working on Star Wars. They could be working with someone who's working on more invisible VFX that you don't see every day, but they're working with a talented professional. Our mentors are able to share resources on our Slack platform. So you're not actually plugged into one individual. If a mentor doesn't know, they're able to ask everybody else on the platform, which is really beautiful. And we all share information with each other. If we see job specs, if we see handy tutorials, we all share them with each other, which is then passed on to our mentees, which is really, really lovely. It only takes about 10 minutes to sign up to become a mentor through Access VFX. We'll pop a QR code up at the end, or you can have a look on our website, which is accessvfx.org. You will pop in your personal email, personal in case you're freelance and you're moving around a lot. And then there's a little questionnaire. And at the end, you either choose to be a mentor, or if you haven't got time, or you don't feel like you've got the time to be a full mentor, we've also got a really brilliant Q&A feature on our platform. On that, you just, a mentee anywhere in the world would pose a question, and they get responses from professionals all over the world. And that could be on career advice, that could be on 2D advice, 3D advice, gaming. So that's also a really handy tool. So yeah, you'd sign up via our website and then choose Q&A or mentorship at the end of that. I currently have 12 mentees around the world, all in different stages of their career, some still in college, some very much working, most now working, which is really, really lovely. And I've helped them from things with CVs, interview process, technical knowledge, which I'll ask my studio if I'm stuck. And then I continue to, I'd say they're not mentees anymore, they're friends. I continue to help my friends as they progress through their career with questions like things have come up at work that are worrying them. They'll ping me a message and I'll see where I can help there. Or imposter syndrome every day for all of us. So actually, as a mentor, it's actually quite nice to be open and honest and say, I worry about that too, and have an open dialogue just to let people know that the world out there isn't perfect and we're all finding it hard in our own little ways. So I think that human touch really does help all of the mentees. Yeah, I think that's it. I did write notes because I'm a producer and that's what we all do. Yeah, that's it. It's really easy, and I can honestly say, out of my whole job, and I'm not saying this to earn points, but it is the most rewarding part of my job because I finally feel like I'm giving something back. Because it might take 5 minutes out of my day, but the help it's given that other person, I think, could be so much more. So I'd really recommend it. If you're thinking about it, give it a go. And I'm going to introduce Matthias, who is one of our wonderful mentors. Hello.
Thanks to hear that. Nice to hear that. Yeah, cool to be here.
So you've been with us for quite a while now.
Yeah, I haven't looked up when I'm joined. It was back in 2019, 2020, before shit hit the fan, really. And then that was back overseas in Montreal, and now coming back, I always ask, hey, when will Access VFX start in Europe? And now it's time. So I have my first mentees here in Europe as well, even here in Cologne, in my hometown. So that's really nice.
That's really nice. And how do you find being a mentor?
It's cool. I mean, it was always one of my goals to show other people how to do everything. I mean, sometimes I'm know-it-all. So even when I was a junior, I always was like, hey, I know it better. That time it was not better, but now it's more that I think I can help these people better, and all the juniors that I have. It's not only in Access VFX, but also in my own old university and all this stuff, and even in my company as well.
Nice. And does it take up much of your time?
Not really. As you said, it's perhaps half an hour that you look into Prospera, or on the weekend when you log in and you're like, hey, there's a cool question that you want to answer. Then just do it. I mean, that's a good thing about everything is online. Not to say you can sit on the toilet and answer questions, but yes, it's like that.
I hope you're not, just saying.
No.
And what kind of stuff are you answering? What are you helping your mentees with?
Yeah, the good thing is, Alisha showed her side, so it's on my side the opposite. It's like, first of all, the basic stuff, yeah, like real reviews. I mean, Hugo does that as well, and it's the most important stuff you do when you meet people. Hey, what is my real? Does what my real look like? But that's not the only part. I mean, that's basic stuff. Networking is one very important thing. How to be a LinkedIn ninja, how to reach out to recruiters without being directly too intimate or something like this. What's out there? Like the Discord. Alisha told us about the Women in VFX Discord. There are even more where you can directly connect to others. And yeah, the main thing is to meet people in person for me. So I'm also organizing the hangout here in Düsseldorf and in Cologne, and perhaps you can meet people as well. And then it's, as you said, specific questions about your craft, like nuke stuff in my way. Most importantly, it's the mental stuff. imposter syndrome is now the third time around here, and all the other things like burnout, like what's happening if my show is really shitty. I mean, that happens. What is about overtime? Do I have to do 14 hours or can I say no? That's also a thing. I mean, a company can be happy that they have you for 40 hours. Why should they have you for 60 hours and you're burning out? And telling your own story that you say, hey, in my way, it was like I worked for 10 hours and then I told them I can't do anymore. And it was okay. This is very important for the juniors to know and to hear, because they are on the lower side. Same with salary negotiations. I mean, we know the first time we got money, we were like, oh, I take everything I want. But in the end, you most often start at the low end, and then you have to work up and to tell them, hey, this is the lowest point you can go. Perhaps take it a little bit higher because you're really awesome. I saw your reel. Hey, that can help.
Yeah, great.
Brilliant.
Yeah. And then, I mean, after that, as you told, it's more the mentoring while they are working. Hopefully they get their job. I mean, a few of my mentees already they worked, and or a few start now. And then what can they say now? How can they step up? Perhaps starting with scripting. What about something like going to home office or remote if they are not, because a lot of companies say, hey, juniors have to be in the office. And once more, when shit shows happen, tell them your story and tell them, hey, that was a bad part, that was a good part, and tell them, hey, appreciate everything you have. And if there is something wrong, tell people. Communication is so much key. And sometimes people forget that because they're like, oh, can I say that to my supervisor or not?
Thank you, Matthias. It's amazing. I'm going to share my screen quickly because I know we want to make some time for questions if anybody has some. But while we do that, Hayley, I'm just going to share the screen now to share the QR code and the link if people want to get involved. I trust everybody can see that.
Yes, well done.
Hey, the tech works.
The pressure.
I think I'm back on. We only really have time for one question, but if you can all hang around to answer any others in the live chat, that would be most appreciated. Just wanted to ask, is this initiative truly global? Can anyone get involved? Had a question saying, is this available in India, for instance?
Yeah, at the moment, because we don't have an active chapter in India, we don't have an active mentoring program in India, but you can use the Q&A feature. We tried to get launched in Africa as well, but due to because we have to do a lot of the safeguarding kind of legal work, that's where we rely on sponsorship. But if you are in India, you can still engage on the platform. You can still sign up and use the Q&A feature. And actually, in many ways, it's a bit more beneficial because you get access to all 1,500 mentors who can answer your question. So it's still a really meaningful channel to engage with. But yeah, one day, if anybody's out there who wants to lead an Indian chapter, we're all ears. We're working towards it, to be fair, and in Singapore. So 2024 should be an interesting year for the continued growth of Access VFX.
Amazing. It's such a fantastic opportunity for everyone in the industry to get involved. So kudos to all of you.
No, thank you, Hayley. Thanks for the opportunity. And thank you, Hugo, as well, doing a great job today. Thank you so much.